for the memes.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Great.
Such a silly project we've done here.
Yeah, you got to do the intro.
Yeah, I do. Hey, what's going on? Whoa.
Sorry, you're hosting.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? First we feast.
Well, we should do for Chatz.
Okay, for Chatz
Television
podcast.
Podcast.
I'm Alan Ibrahim, and
Yeah.
that's Magellan. Okay. Hey, what's
Everyone-
going on, everybody? For Chatz the Television podcast. Oh, is it Chatz the Television podcast?
Yeah, we still are Chatz Television.
Yeah.
For chat, or you could say for Chats.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for Chatz. Just keep the brand. Yeah, that feels right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? For Chats, I'm Alan Ibrahim,
Fluke.
and you're watching Hot Ones. It's a show with hot questions and even hotter wings. I'm joined as always by my stalwart co-host and the wingmaster himself, Magellan.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Magellan. First off, tell me your history with hot foods.
Okay, so this is the inaugural episode of season
Chatz and a
17.
Pickle?
Chatz and a Pickle, that's right. Which is the season we're going to be doing while the WGA and SAG strikes are happening. So this idea to do a Hot Ones comes from a few people in the Discord. Nick suggested this, and I think Stefan separately suggested it. So that's what we're doing. We're basically recreating Hot Ones together the way that show works, if you've seen it. I like spicy food, but I don't handle it so good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little scared to do this, but we'll see. What about you?
So yeah, this is a two-way interview, which is fun. That's the only way we're pivoting from the classic format. I have recently come to love spicy food. In Middle Eastern culture, we eat a lot of a decent amount of spicy food, not as much as you'd think.
Mm-hmm.
But just recently, as I've been getting into more Asian cuisine, I'm like, oh, there's actually spice is wonderful, and I am pushing the boundaries of how much spice I can take. So we're gonna be doing that today with our lineup here of 8 delicious chicken wings.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the audio version, I highly recommend you check out the YouTube version because we are filming this, and you get to see our beautiful meat sacks slowly perishing by the end of this. And so we've got 8 sauces here. We started with the classic Goya hot sauce.
Yeah, that's our baseline. So I went to shout out to the Heatonist in Williamsburg in Brooklyn,
Yes.
where they sell the Hot Ones sauces. And I picked up these 3 here on the milder side, which are sauces 2, 3, and 4 of the current Hot One season 21.
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked up the hotter pack, which is sauces 6, 7, and 9 of season 21. And then we also have the Goya, which is more of a familiar baseline.
Some Goya and some Old Bay.
And
Classic
today, when I was at Target, I got not only the lemonade for Alan, who's trying to do the Gordon Ramsay thing of having the citrus acidic bite to counter the heat. I got the oat milk for me because I'm lactose intolerant. And then I saw in the board game section the Truth or Dab board game, and it came with the Last Dab, so we were able to grab that as well. So that's our lineup of 8 sauces. So we're going to do 8 wings.
I just realized something really silly.
What's that?
The video is mirrored, which is all the text on the wings is backwards. I can flip that seamlessly if you want me to, just to see what that looks like really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a little.
All the text is backwards in the video?
Yeah, I see. TOH. Yeah. Hold on, transform. Flip horizontal. Whoa. Yeah, this is actually the angle we want.
Yeah.
So video people, hi, welcome. I'm not starting over though. This is the angle you're getting.
This is Mario Kart mirror mode over here.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get into it, Magellan. Let's start with wing number 1.
Yeah. So that's that one.
We start at the handle, Hot One style.
This is the Goya wing first.
Yes.
Okay. I'm really hungry, but I'm really scared to eat these.
All right,
Okay.
let's get it.
So let's take our first bite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
pleasant. I season my food with this one.
Yeah, it's warm, but it's like an edible warm.
Oh, an edible, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, Magellan.
Uh-huh.
Magellan, my sweet and wonderful friend of over 10 years.
We cooked these wings ourselves, by the way.
We did.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. They've gone a little chilly since we took them out of the oven. but not a problem. These are solid. So, Magellan, like I said, you've always been known for your dry humor and improvisational skills on the podcast. How did you discover shows like Ask a Ninja and Dignation? And were those your first exposure to personality-based content online?
Yeah, so that's early like my exposure to podcasting. Downloading stuff on iTunes and watching it like on my iPod and stuff. I mean, my first exposure to podcasts in general was the Bare Naked Ladies podcast,
Right.
Which I listened to in like 2007 or 8 or something.
Yeah.
And that was just behind the scenes of them recording Our Me and Our Men. So it was like the episodes were random. They released at random times. It was just on iTunes. And then from there, I started listening to some other stuff that was more tabletop RPG oriented, like the Order 66 podcast, which was a Star Wars Saga Edition podcast. That was like the first podcast I listened to week.
Yeah.
And then I feel like around that time, in like the early 2010s, video podcasts were more of a thing.
Yeah.
They kind of, it feels like they've become a thing again now that platforms like YouTube and even TikTok are like pushing podcast content. But, you know, it felt like at that time I was definitely consuming a lot more stuff through iTunes that was video content, like Dignation or Ask a Ninja. Oh my God, that can't have aged well at all.
There's no way.
I can't imagine it. But yeah, personality based. That must have been the first exposure that I had to that. I don't think of Ask a Ninja as like a foundational text, but I definitely watched a lot of it.
Right? Like if you go all the way back, what's for that? My this question, the spirit of it was more like what is the furthest back thing that you can go where you're like, oh, this is a person on the internet who I like recognize.
That's probably, I think that's the first like person doing a character that I can think of going back that far. But if we're talking about people who are personalities, I do think the Order 66 podcast was the start of that for me, of like having people who are making content online who I'm following, GM Chris and GM Dave, and like they had their podcast names, and I got a sense of what their personalities were in comparison to each other. So that was, I think, an early example of that for me.
Shout out to Chris and Dave.
Yeah, I think they still exist, but they started going from like the weekly hour-long episode to like the monthly or semi-monthly 4-hour-long episode kind of thing. So they had a weird arc.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question for you on this first wing.
Amazing.
Okay. So let me try to do my Sean Evans thing. Earlier this year, you hit a major milestone, graduating with an MBA while continuing your stellar work hosting Talking Marketing for the American Marketing Association's Boston chapter. What are your biggest learnings in the last 2 years in the marketing world, and what do you hope to learn in the next 2 years? That's my Sean.
That's Evans. A good question, Sean. That's a really good question.
I got a team writing these things.
I can tell. Things I've learned, or like most interesting thing I've learned, is that even the most like entrepreneurial grindset people are like weird in the way that all of us are weird. Every episode of Talking Marketing, I like literally last night, one of my colleagues at AMA was like, hey, like one of these Twitter accounts is asking like what's an episode we should send them for like an example, and I told him like the most recent one because it was very educational. That was our Neil Schaefer episode.
I listened to that one. It's good.
Yeah. But what I like is learning that like Neil is like a weird, I think he's he was Canadian, but he moved to California, and like learning about who he was as like a family person and like how he got into content stuff, like just breaking down the myth that entrepreneurs are like somehow better than any of us. They they just hit a certain point of luck or consistency that they were like, oh, I know how to do this and sell it, which is really what it is. And things I want to learn, obviously like how to do that myself. I want to pay it forward, really. Like that's the end goal, is to do this well enough that people who are interested see me do it and go, how did you get to where you are? So I think That's what I got.
Cool. Great.
Should we move on to number 2?
Yeah. So sauce number 2 here. This is the La Pimenterie. It's like a French thing.
Pimenterie.
Yeah. Curry verde. So it's a Thai green.
I'm gonna hold it up to
curry
the camera.
hot sauce. Here you go.
Oh, shit.
Do the
yeah,
like makeup influencer thing.
And then like
You put your hand behind
Yep.
it. Yeah.
curry verde.
Oh, that worked. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. So this is
Number
one,
2, curry verde.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Very flavorful. Ooh, little kick. Starting to feel something.
Got some on the tablecloth here.
That's okay.
All right, I'll do my second question for you.
Sure.
Ooh, that does kick. Okay.
Yeah, at the end is a little back end. Yeah. Hell yeah.
We were talking about Hot Ones episodes before this.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the John Mulaney one today. That dude did not react to a single thing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What
The
a
David
legend.
Blaine one is one of my favorites, and he also barely reacts.
I mean, that's his life skill, is not reacting to
right.
things that are intense. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What do you got?
You recently appeared in your second Metric music video, Just the Once.
I can't believe you. Okay.
In your first appearance on Love You Back, you showed up on screen to mouth, quote, "I've been held in place with wire and lace." While in the most recent video, you mouth, "Ask how you got here, it gets hard to recall." Do those lyrics hold any special meaning to you? And what has changed about music and lyrics that resonate with you in the time between those two videos?
Oh my god. That's nuts. So, yes, I'm in the 2 fan videos for those songs, like you said. And obviously, I don't pick what parts that they clip for me.
Right.
But Held Together by Wire and Lace is very much like I'm barely holding it together. Like I'm held together by the thinnest of twine, basically. And at the time, I think that was like mid 2022, 2021, maybe. I kind of felt like that. Just like things are going.
I think it was even, wasn't it like 4 years ago? 2019? Or am I wrong?
I don't remember when. No, because that would have been on, not Formentera, maybe the album before. Yeah, the album before Formentera.
I think
So probably, 18 or 19 then. So definitely a difficult time in my life and a time that I'm feeling like things could like kind of change at any moment. I'm very nervous about where things are. And that's so wild that the new ones is like, ask me how I got here, like, because I don't know how I got here. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, how did I end up in this like really nice apartment with like all these great friends, and I'm going out and I'm doing the things that like 10 years ago I would have never imagined doing.
Right.
And we talked about in the first question like wanting to like pay it forward, and like that's just one of those things I don't know how to help people do other than you should move out. That starts it. That's not the answer, but that starts the process.
Right.
But that's a really cool thought. I never considered that they picked the lyrics like that.
And your first clip was in your old living situation.
Correct.
And this current clip is in the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's filmed in here actually, from where Magellan is sitting. Yeah, I filmed that like the day before it was due. It's pretty funny. It's just like I was actually working, and I like took off the shirt I was wearing for work, put on my Formentera shirt, hit play on the iPad, and was like, go. And then because I knew like they get a lot of submissions, but not a ton. So I was like, if I send this, I'm probably gonna get in. And it worked out, and I'm really happy. Shout outs to Metric, great band.
Yeah.
I have one for you then.
Okay.
As an aspiring writer, you've been inspired by outlets like the AV Club and podcasts like Extra Life Radio. That being said, do you feel like Pop Modern, our attempt at being a pop culture critic website, shaped or developed your skills as a critic in a meaningful way?
Yeah, so we had a blog called Pop Modern that still exists on WordPress somewhere. I guess I could tell you where to find it, but I don't really want to right now.
Nope, I'm good.
And when was that? That was in college.
2014 to 20 or 13 to 16, I think.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, I think that was a really helpful outlet for me to start to kind of cut my teeth and think about that kind of writing, because like critical review writing, or like not even reviews, but kind of pontificating about your relationship to media or those kinds of things. It's a type of writing that like I hadn't had exposure to. You don't really do that in high school in a meaningful way. And so it was a space for me to like start to express and think about like my feelings about movies and, you know, why do I like the movies that I like? And I don't necessarily look back on those as like the best written things I've ever done or like a template for how I want to, you know, write things going forward. But it was a valuable experience. I think what it also represented was my like desire to experiment with formats and like different types of content, which I think has shown up in like how we do Patreon content and
this
just like an interest in what's kind of like the framing device or the way that this can be done. So I think that kind of like experimentation and wanting to play with format is something that is still present in the things that I like to do. So
yeah, I love that. And thinking about format, like I think we're both kind of people who don't like to go for the water. I see.
Saving the oat milk for the hot ones.
Yes, we're not even there yet. We're still cooking. I'm feeling the linger from that one still.
Oh yeah, my tongue is still, but I could eat a meal of that wing.
We're still in meal territory, not in
Yeah.
punishment. No, I think it's fun to experiment, and we are two people who don't like to be pinned down to one type of thing forever.
Right.
Like I remember when we were. This is funny now considering, but when we named it Chatz, a television podcast, it was like we're like making ourselves a television podcast, and like everything we decide to do under this brand is going to have to be tangentially related to television. And now we're pivoting by, you know, I referred to us as being from Chatz earlier. Like it's we can be whatever the hell we want. I love that.
Yeah.
You want to go to number 3?
Let's do it. Okay, so the third sauce here is the, I'm looking forward to this one, the zesty lemon pepper sauce.
Heck yeah. Woo.
This is the one that this season everybody's been like, ooh, I like that one.
Tastes good.
It's
I like
tasty.
lemon pepper. When I go to
Me too.
the very rare occasion I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I kill lemon pepper every single time. So let's
see how
munch.
this one goes.
Ooh, it's slippery. Yeah. Ooh. Get that pepper on the back end.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Highly satisfying. I'm gonna do an extra dab. I'm gonna do a last dab of that one. Just a little drippy. Boop. So I wanna really appreciate that flavor. Oops.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I do.
It was less spicy than the Thai curry one.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were both more sensitive. Oh, there's a spice. I put up more, and now I'm like, oh. Interesting. Okay, Magellan. Q3. Navigating multiple projects at once and putting a piece of yourself into all of them has been, in my mind, a defining part of your work ethic for as long as I've known you. Is there a particular project from your Stanford days that you think still has legs and deserves a second chance if you could do it today? And in addition, is there a particular Flying Treehouse performance that you were really proud of that you'd like to share with the class?
That's funny.
Because you did a lot of stuff like video stuff,
Yeah.
performance stuff, comedy, improv stuff in college.
Yeah, I did a variety of things. I mean, at various times I did like the satirical newsletter, or I was part of a sketch group for a little bit. I did some improv and tried to do a sitcom twice, and that was like biting off way more than I could chew. I think doing video stuff would be fun.
For sure.
Because that was an experience that, even though like I took on way too much, I didn't know how to delegate, I didn't know how to collaborate, like there were a lot of social emotional components to why that didn't work out. But I also learned a lot about how to edit something and how to block something and like how to put together a shooting schedule and like the kind of creative and logistical sides of that. So I think not necessarily any of those projects per se, but the chance to do like a short film or something, I think would be pretty cool and probably a fulfilling creative experience. I think like specific projects that I was batting around at that time that might still be viable. Like I've thought about doing an audio sketch show, which I think could work.
Yeah.
Or doing my own improv podcast, which I think is something I would still enjoy doing. Yeah. Flying Treehouse performance.
You want to explain what that is for the kids?
Yeah. So one of the groups that was near and dear to me when I was at Stanford was this group called Flying Treehouse, where basically we went and we taught creative writing to elementary school kids, like second and third graders. And then we would take their stories that they wrote and turn them into sketches and songs and things. And it's a lot like, if you're familiar with Story Pirates, it's a lot like what Story Pirates does.
For sure.
There were a few that were really fun to me. But there were two songs that kind of stick out. I got to work with some people in that group who were really great at writing very catchy, cool songs. One of them was, I had brought something in that I wrote when I was a kid that it must have been a response, like a writing prompt about what would you do if you were in charge of the world. And one of the things I said was there would be no girls, because I was like an elementary school boy being stupid.
Sure.
And so one of the people in the group turned it into this song where the character keeps repeating that as like the chorus of the song, and she made me sing it and like own it as this misogynistic character.
Awesome.
Which was fun. It was like a mad scientist who was going through a breakup or something, so that's why he was like mad at women.
Like Dr. Horrible.
Yeah, it had some Dr. Horribly vibes. And then the other one that was fun is we did this big number called Birds that was based on, the kids would write in like these little journals, and then we'd get their journals to see if there's anything in there we could turn into something. And this one girl who was in one of my groups had written a bunch of different pages about like different birds, and so people in the group turned that into this song about like someone who loved birds, and then there's a bat who wants to hang out with the birds, and these different birds each had a verse. And then at the end, the girl comes up to me and she's like, I was like, what would you think? And she's like, well, I didn't write a song, I wrote an informational pamphlet. So her mom was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun.
Legendary.
Yeah. I have a third question for you.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Got back into Sean Evans mode. In high school, you were voted most likely to brighten your day, which was definitely helpful for us when PSN went down on prom night.
Son of a gun.
What have been your favorite and least favorite running jokes that you've been a part of? And what do you think makes a running joke work or irk?
The hand motion, too. Oh, God. I can't even begin to explain the layers of what the inside joke that you just made. But, yeah, I do love a runner. I used to, do runners too much. Like, running gags. I would, do the same one, too much to the point where it's, it's kind of annoying. And so now I'm always very, very conscious of I love this joke and I want to play with it for so long. Right. I think what works for me is a joke that's a very easy format. Like we were doing a rhyming gag earlier, like the sink, think, that whole thing, which was based on a Queef Jerky song, but also anything where even the most non-improv person can just jump right into it. I want people to feel like they're all doing the gag. Right. A great example of this, actually, I was in Maine with some friends recently for almost a week, and what was the name of the song? There was a rap song. I think it's a Fabulous song. No, it was it was Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy by 50 Cent. That's what it was. And we had a hot tub, so every time someone would get in the hot tub, the way we would initiate it is, now everybody in the tub getting slippery. And one person said that once, and then now it just became let's go to the hot tub is everybody in the tub getting slippery. And then people would run to the hot tub. I love an accessible running joke.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's great.
Where are we going?
Well, it's time for sauce number 4 here. So this one is called Chile Lengua de Fuego. So that's tongue of fire.
Pong. Lengua de Fuego. Amazing. This is chocolate, ghost pepper, chipotle, smoked garlic, raw sugar, and ginger root.
Okay.
I'm so excited to try this one.
A lot of ingredients there.
I might go double dippy on this one.
Take a taste of it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey. Look at us.
Look at us.
The
Look
meme.
I taste the chocolate. Oh.
It's kicking.
Oh, it's kicking.
It's kicking.
Hold on, I gotta get in on that. And I want to ruin my life a little bit. I'm gonna do it. Oh god. Okay. It's so quick how quick it goes from like
Ooh.
I'm tasting it to like, oh my god. That's why I'm trying not to put a lot.
Oh, it's kicking.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part where it'd be like, poof,
Yeah.
poof.
Boo. I think the chocolate helps a lot with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I would use that one for sure. Ooh, aftertaste. Strong aftertaste.
That's one that, like, it's on the border if I could have a meal of this or not.
Yeah. We're about halfway, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
That was all stuff from the mild one. So now we've left the mild pack that you bought, right?
Yeah, we're out
in
of
spicy world.
Mild Town. Question 4 for you. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's funny you brought this up earlier, actually, but one of our first podcasting influences and connection points as close friends was our appreciation for Extra Life Radio with Scott Johnson, Brian Dunaway, and Obsidian. How did those experiences with early podcasting as a fan shape all of the work you've done since with Fireside Friends, The Garnet Wager, The Creature Quorum, and so on? And if you could give an extra life to 3 now defunct pieces of web media, what would they be and why?
Yeah, that's so good. I've thought about this. So what's funny is a lot of those early podcasts were done in studios. He's going for the milk. He's oat milking it though because he's a healthy boy.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Neutralizes it.
That was helpful.
I'm not even touching my lemonade yet until I want to perish. Yeah, Extra Life Radio. Because a lot of them were done in studios, I've always had this dream of like doing podcasts in a studio. That's why I love this. Excuse me. Oh, that one's coming back to fight. It's coming back to, it's going for a 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked doing stuff like this, like 2 people in a room, even though like we have built our entire podcast on a remote setup because we just went to college in different sides of the country.
Right.
I've like my like long-term pipe dream goal of podcasting was to do something in a space with others. They just think it's more fun and engaging.
Yeah.
So that's always been a big thing I got from early podcasts that just like COVID and like the way that podcasting has evolved has pushed away from. But I really value that. And I always liked their dynamic, right? Like it was the transition from radio to podcasting was like high personalities on radio, like wacky noises and stuff, to like very casual, we're just going to talk format. But Extra Life Radio kind of was like the halfway point. Like they were still very silly.
Yeah.
And they had segments and soundboard clips and stuff, but they weren't like shock jockeys.
Right.
And then it was, you said 3 internet things I would bring
3
back?
defunct pieces of web media. Could be podcast, webcomic, video series, like whatever, blog, I don't know.
A recent one is I really miss Bon Appetit. Like I really loved that was exactly what I'm talking about though. Like them being in person, working in a place together and cooking and enjoying each other's company is like peak personality based YouTube for me. And unfortunately most of them were paid really terribly. The company seemed pretty racist, etc.
Stuff going on,
Big time. So like that just isn't a thing anymore. I would bring that back in an equitable way. Revision 3. And their associated shows.
About video podcasts,
Yeah, I mean,
Scam School and stuff.
Scam School. Bite Jacker was my favorite. That was where, again, unfortunately canceled, Nick Robinson and Anthony Carboni would do, like, review indie games. And it was like, they made them look so cool. I was like, what are indie games? Like, it's 2012 and I don't know what an indie game is. Like, what are you saying? Just like the wild west at the time.
Yeah.
And
of course, Totally Rad Show.
Yeah. I mean, but that's still going, right? I'm pretty sure that's still going in some context, maybe.
Right.
I know that Kanata is on the Slash Filmcast, which was one of my other early podcast fandoms. That's like still going strong.
Wow.
With at least 2 of the same hosts. So like, yeah, I just want like a video show with a bunch of people back.
Yeah.
Where they're all friends and they do fun, and there's like different branches of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And no, like one channel has gotten that.
Right.
I think you and I have talked about like the like Nick is not green, Dev Lemons. Like there's like the commentary
like
YouTube multiverse.
People, yeah.
But it's not the same, you know? It doesn't hit that same. So those are the ones that I think I would bring back. Mostly. Is that 3? I think Revision 3, Bon Appetit.
I think you need one more.
I guess was Project Lore under Revision 3? I don't think so. Project Lore was awesome. And I want Let's Plays to be like that again, where we play games together in a room. Because Let's Plays nowadays are either the Game Grumps format, where you're getting me going, where it's like one person plays, the other one talks, which I love. It's popular for a reason. Or like we play together, and like they kind of do that. But what was weird and cool about Project Lore was there was so much focus on their cameras. Like we are PC gaming, but the camera is on us, and it just added such a fun layer of personality that wasn't just like so many Let's Plays and commentary shows now. You can listen to audio only and not watch it, but that was like you should be looking at what we're talking about, and I missed that element of video stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
So no love for Screw Attack Greg is what you're saying.
I told you, or like one of my first PAXs, I saw him at the Tech Mobile like cabinet. I saw the back of his head, and I saw the hat, I saw the suit, and I was like, I think that's Screw Attack Greg, and it was. I looked up later, he was at PAX. Screw Attack is in that same thing though, like video network of people. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, speaking of video games.
Okay.
You are famously a Mario Kart whiz kid.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What is it about Mario Kart Double Dash that still reigns supreme for you?
Ugh.
And what is your favorite self-imposed challenge mode for Mario Kart?
Wow, I've been thinking a lot about this lately because my girlfriend recently has gotten into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
She's so good, guys.
She's great.
I'm not shaking my head because she isn't. She is, and she's so good.
No, she's great. And it's been really fun to play that and to get back into Mario Kart. And now I'm kind of in like a YouTube rabbit hole of people who play Mario Kart in interesting ways or do little challenges or things like that.
Yeah.
Or just like speculation about what does the next Mario Kart look like, things like that. I'm playing Mario Kart Tour on my phone now. I'm not spending money on it. Don't worry, they didn't get me with the gotcha or whatever. Yet. But
we should talk about Mario Kart Tour. I played a lot of it when it came out.
It's low key doing some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
It just doesn't. No, I'm not saying that to you. It is doing some interesting stuff. It just isn't. It never like excites me. It's just like fun.
The gameplay is not what's interesting about it.
Okay, what's interesting about it?
Well, this is a tangent, but it brings back something from Double Dash that I really like, which is the like unique items.
True.
It has more outfits and stuff, which is
way
fun.
more. Yeah.
And then it has different like variations of certain tracks. Like here's a variation of Daisy Cruiser that has way more ramps on it.
Yeah.
And it's like more of a trick focused iteration of it. And then it also does this thing that's almost like Kirby Air Ride-esque, where it has these kind of
You've activated me.
These like mini games or like other objective type things. Like as you drive through this lap, try to knock over as many Goombas with the bob-ombs as possible.
Yeah.
Or like fly as far as you can and try to hit the air drafts or whatever. So I'm of the opinion that like whatever the next Mario Kart is should be borrowing modes and ideas and elements from Tour. It just should also like play well the way that Mario Kart 8 does. Yeah. But Double Dash, I think what I love about it so much is it feels like every other Mario Kart is just an iteration of like the same idea or formula, and Double Dash is like the main one that is doing a different spin on the thing, because you have two people in a cart, characters have access to unique character items, and it's the first game that introduces double item boxes. And I think it's the only one until Mario Kart 8 Deluxe brings those back that even has them.
I believe it.
And so what Double Dash does is it creates this like complex set of choices and strategy that you have to do around your items. So there's more item management happening, and there's like an item economy of like, well, I kind of want this for later, so I should have the driver hold it, but the driver is the character who can get this other item that I would like to get if I could get it. So maybe I need to spend this now and put them in the back to try to get something. And then it also has some other interactions, like in a lot of the Mario Kart games, when you have a triple shell, it like circles around your car. But in Mario Kart Double Dash, the characters
trail behind you. Oh,
they're holding it.
Oh,
and so there are these tiers of like contact that can happen to you, where if you get hit by a shell while you're juggling 3 shells, you lose 2 of them. But if you get hit by something like a chain chomp or a lightning bolt, you lose all the shells. So there's like minor hits and major hits.
Interesting.
And you can knock things out of people's hands and steal them. When the person's in the back, if you're playing two people and someone's in the back, there's a button to like punch to the side. So there's like a little more complexity with item management and like interactions you can have with other people. Because I think in other Mario Kart games you can have interactions, but a lot of your interactions just feel kind of random or messy, or like they're just, it's like the chaotic churn of the game.
Sure.
So that's what I like about Mario Kart Double Dash. And for the longest time, the challenge that I was trying to achieve was beat the All Cup, where you play all 16 races in a row, and you start in last place, and you have to get first place. And it took me, I don't know, a couple years, I think, to like do that. And then there was this one day where I did it, and it was like the best achievement in a video game. So that's up there for me.
I really liked also the variant you showed me from YouTube recently.
Yes.
Where you have to get every position once, and if you get the same position twice, you have to start over.
Yeah.
So you have to get 12th, 11th, 10th, etc.
Right.
And the sort of like logic and thought process behind that of like, if I get first early, I don't have to try as hard, but then like I might just accidentally end up in first.
Yeah, that's something I want to do at some point.
It's cool that it's a game with the potential to just put variants, like set rules for yourself.
Definitely. I think it's time for number 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
we're in Spice Town now, y'all. Boy.
This one is called the Spicy Shark. Oh, it's from New England. Eat the Heat. Half Mako shark, half snake. The Mako snake is the second mythical creature to join the Six Fin series. Like the ghost pepper that is featured in the sauce, the Mako snake is indigenous to India. With a masala-style inspired base, the heat of this sauce will exhilarate you like the speed of a Mako shark.
Exhilarating.
Okay.
Show it to the kids. Huh. Oh, eat the heat. I thought it said beat the heat. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Eat the heat. Eat the heat.
Beat the heat.
Eat the heat.
Just a whiff. Woo! This is.
You haven't even tried it before you're doing that.
I'm a renegade, Magellan.
Okay.
Renegade. Okay. Uh-oh. That was way spicier than I thought.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We're playing the feud now.
Oh.
Let's go. That so much. I am not doing that for any.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, it sucks very much.
It tastes good. The flavor.
I feel like I'm sorry. I'm losing my brain cells. Wow.
Fuck. Oh.
So you wouldn't cook with that one? You're saying?
That's not a meal.
Mm-mm.
That's not a meal.
Wow. Awesome. I'll take 50 of those. Thank you. I'm going for the lemonade. I have to. I can't see straight. Oh boy. Spicy shark does not fuck around. My sinuses are wide open. Talk to me. Me? Mm-hmm. Okay. As an educator, you often recount stories to us of funny things that your students have said or done.
Fuck.
Could you have ever imagined sitting in Mr. Flanagan's class that he would be recounting the funny things that you, Jim, and I said to his family and friends? Do you ever think about that? Like,
yeah,
teachers we liked? Mr. Flanagan was really great. He was our AP European history teacher. Mm-hmm. And we had that class with him. He's very great. How would you describe him?
Sorry, give me a second.
Yeah.
I feel like Gordon Ramsay up in here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You ever see that tweet that's like, you can't drink at parties anymore. You always end up rapping about Patrick Swayze. He's like, no, I don't. And then it's like 5 minutes and one beer in. All right, y'all, it's getting a little hazy.
That's funny. I do think about that a lot because when you're in school, you don't think about, my tongue's going numb.
Rest in peace. I want to do the thing that one of the latest guests did, where she just like tongues the milk. I want like something cold to just sit in my mouth. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that helped. I'm good now.
Wow. Yeah, you don't think as a student about like the context in which teachers talk to each other
Yeah.
because you don't care. You just know there's a room where they go to lounge or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And like I went in the teacher's lounge maybe once or twice to get to the vending machine, but never thought about like the conversations they have. There was like one time in 7th grade, so embarrassing. I think in 2 separate classes or in one class, I like recounted a dream that I had to the rest of the class. Like the teacher was like sanctioning this.
Yeah.
And it was a dream where like people in the class were in the dream.
Oh.
Which like, if I was a teacher, I'd be like,
No.
all right, we're done.
Yeah, right?
And, but I guess it was just like, maybe it's because I was a quiet kid who was like now kind of up in front of everybody and like enthusiastically describing something that it's like, yeah, this is great. I don't know. But I remember those teachers, like that teacher told another teacher about it. And, you know, they were like, oh, I heard from so-and-so in their class, blah, 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 that you were like doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an awareness that like teachers talked to each other, or, you know, I at least knew that there were some who were friends or knew each other or said things to each other, but
Yeah.
I never really thought about my life as being like observed by them and discussed by them with other people,
right.
you know, because you don't think about their life outside the classroom. So that is a really interesting thing when you are a teacher and you're like talking about a student, or you're in a meeting, even just sitting in a meeting. Sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, my teachers probably met. Like they probably had meetings with each other.
And they hang out, or that they talk regularly.
Yeah, or they went to the bar together, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a trippy thing.
Yeah. But you could never have imagined like the jokes that we were making in the back of class.
Yeah.
That they would be like, they were making these like weird comments and like referencing stuff that I've never heard of, and you're like, because I think in high school you're very like you don't think about stuff like that
Right.
like your actions have consequences, because they don't really.
Right.
And then now as an adult, as someone who's teaching high school students, it's like, oh, I'm telling people what they say, and I'm hearing from other teachers.
There's also this interesting thing that happens where like I think when you're sitting in a classroom, you really feel anonymous, or like you could be, and you could have like a small little conversation with somebody next to you.
For sure.
But it's when you're the teacher in the front of the room, all of the dynamics are so obvious to you.
Yeah.
And like there is not really a conversation that's flying under the radar in the way that students think they are.
Right. Yeah.
And so like, you know, when I was thinking that I was being sly talking to like a girl I had a crush on or whatever, I'm positive the teachers were like, he's fucking talking to so-and-so again.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or you think you're like my students will think that they're being sneaky about like their social plans, or they're like using terms that I know what they mean, but you also kind of have to like play dumb.
Yeah,
because
of course.
if you let on that you understand what something means, then students are like, how do you know what that means? What?
And then they start asking.
Ew! No, that's not what we meant, or whatever. So, but teenagers are not subtle. They think that they're really sneaky or slick or whatever, but they're not, which is really funny. Yeah. So we do a little segment here on the show.
Called name that or whatever. Explain that gram.
Where we find pictures from our guest Instagrams. And asked him to explain the context behind the picture. So I had my assistant bring me my laptop.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like the majority of this video is going to be people seeing the back of my head, so I want to look at the camera while he pulls this up. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well.
All of these are ones that you're going to want to be on camera.
Can you vet them? From my Instagram? Or what are they from?
Facebook. Some are Instagram.
Can you just show them to me before you pull them up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show them to you in a way that
doesn't put them on camera.
See them?
Yeah.
So like if I do it over here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, great.
Oh yeah, please load this page.
I need your Wi-Fi.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I have it.
Can you log into that Wi-Fi?
Absolutely. You want to entertain the kids while I do this?
Sure. If you tilt the laptop up on the bottom of it, there's a heatiness sticker down there.
Ooh.
Show it to the camera.
Oh.
So there's that.
Heatiness.
With my big Shure sticker. Okay. Wow, I feel a lot better.
Yeah, you recover fast.
Yeah. Dear God, that was rough.
It only gets worse. It doesn't get better.
My tongue, I couldn't feel it.
Yeah, same. And I took extra.
I guess that's the ghost pepper, huh?
Yeah. I hope that's my password.
But there's that part of me that's like, yeah, give me another one.
Oh, absolutely. It's, you know why? They talk about this in some video. Dopamine. You're, in addition to the pain receptor, you're also getting a ton of dopamine.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
It's not exactly like, but it's similar to how when you have a child, your body releases chemicals that make you forget how much it hurt to have a child. Did you know that?
Like it actually is? Or
yes.
You're just making...
No, that's true.
No. Are you saying it's actually truthfully like that, or you're saying that's an actual truth?
It's like that only in the sense that like a bad thing happens to you and your body tells you it's actually okay to protect you.
Interesting. Okay. So, I have some pictures for you.
Hell yeah.
I just want you to explain what you see and tell the folks
okay
about it.
This is a classic. You can show this. You can definitely show this. And there you go. So that's me as Toph from back in Halloween, I think 2018. Mm-hmm. And my two of my friends went as Zuko and Katara, and we dressed up and went to Salem and walked around Salem on the day before Halloween. So fun. It's the only time I've ever done any costuming thing. And it's fascinating that in like 2018 I was like, yeah, I'll dress as a girl. Shut up. I don't care. And like I should have known there were signals, you know. You never know when you're living them though. That's how life works. But it was so fun. Like we went to the craft store and like, what's the best material for the hair? And I ended up using a chef's hat in that. It's like, yeah, I really love doing that. I would love to do that again with someone who wants to dress up and be silly.
Nice. Here's the second one. This is kind of a collage of images.
Oh, these are yeah, you can show these. Might be a little rough on the camera, but basically it's the Corner Square, which is in downtown Crossing in Boston, and the surrounding areas. Before I worked in the city of Boston, I would like go for visits, sometimes by myself, sometimes with like one or two friends, and just like take pictures because I thought I still think it's really beautiful. And yeah, I remember when like those might be from around when Fallout 4 was coming out, and I was like, it's gonna be in Boston, I should take pictures and compare them in the game. And it's like the least accurate depiction of Boston ever, and I was like, I wasted my time. But I love doing stuff like that. I should do more stuff like that.
That's funny. What about this one?
Oh my god. So there's an interesting detail about this one. Yeah, this is a really, really crusty photo of my old workspace. Yeah, my desk. My favorite thing about that, I was just thinking about that, is the calendar with the paper that you pull off for the date. My dad got me that from his work. And I was watching an episode of something recently that I won't mention where they had one of those, and I was like, oh, it's cool. I had that. I remember playing Skyrim on that desk. I remember I loved that desk. We had to like take it apart when I moved. And I also got this L desk.
Yeah, so, before you moved, right?
Yes, correct. We got the L desk in like 2 years before I moved.
Yeah.
And I remember like disassembling it and being like, we've had this since I was a child. I'm so sad. Yeah, loved that desk. Thank you for making me remember that.
Now tell us about these little things.
Ooh, so these are from the Cookie Diary, which you and the girlfriend of the podcast, Amanda, got me. Not the Cookie Diary, the Cookie Cookbook or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a really great cookbook of like really specific, well-written recipes for different cookies. That was the only one I've tried so far. Those are tahini cookies. I haven't had enough time to bake lately, but it's so fun. And I think one of the best things about baking when you live on your own is that you can just bake at like fucking 2 a.m. and no one can tell you otherwise. So I remember finishing those at like 1:30 and being like, oh, these are so good, I can't wait until I wake up and then people can try them. They were good though. I should make those again.
That's great. This one we probably won't show because it's got other people in it.
Yeah. Magellan's showing me a picture of me in the Predental Society, which I was a part of at the college I took my post-bac at in 2018. I really miss those people. One of them, actually, one of the girls in the front there, messaged me, or I messaged her recently because I still follow her on Instagram, and I was like, I just answered something about one of her posts, and then she was like, how are you? How you been? And I was like, like I've hesitated to message you guys because like my life really changed, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable talking to people who I met during a really tough time, right? I said that to her. And she said something so sweet. It was like, we all of us went in different places. Wherever you went, whether it's good or bad or left or right, we're happy to have known you. And I am happy that you reached out because I still want to be friends with you. And I was like,
oh, that's really nice.
it was really nice. They were the sweetest group of people.
Yeah.
So like earnest and optimistic in a really, like I said, weird, hard time for me.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't sure of my career and like if dentistry was going to be the thing. And that was basically the last hurrah. I think that meeting, in fact, was one of the last times I saw them all. So yeah, a lot of them are still doing dentistry. Some of them are done with dental school, which is wild.
Wow.
But yeah.
Time flies.
Mm-hmm.
This one will throw you back.
Oh my god!
That'll throw you way back.
Yeah, it's a turntable.fm.
That's right.
Which
you're
was
on Skype.
And I'm on Skype. Yeah, I mean, all the podcasts I did in 2016, or up until like 2018 maybe, were on Skype.
Yeah.
But turntable.fm was a website where you could join a virtual chat room with your friends and play licensed music for each other and all listen and sync.
Yeah.
Which, no, how did that even last?
I have no idea.
Ever.
It was so fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
You would play like joke music, like I'm playing Getting Jiggy with by Will Smith in that picture. But you would play like honestly, like, hey, this is a song I like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's an era of the internet that just is so gone. It's
Right.
like the wild west of licensing stuff.
Yeah.
I know like turntable.fm and Last FM was like kind of like that for people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do stuff like that, but even on Discord now, whenever they make a music bot that lets you recreate that, it gets DMCA'd like so quickly. But I love doing shit like that. It's so fun.
I have two more for you.
Okay.
This one's a classic.
Oh my god. Show this one to the kids. So look at this boy. Look at this absolute lad right here. This is like before Easter or something.
Yeah.
I love that picture because I forget what I used to look like sometimes.
Wearing a leather jacket in this one.
Yeah, I still have that leather jacket. I don't fit into it anymore.
Mm.
I kept it through this move.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually after trying to wear it out and realizing I can't zipper it anymore, I was like, we have to retire this. But it's a classic classic look, classic jacket.
You should get a new leather jacket.
I should.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Okay, last one.
Holy shit. Oh, that's other people in it. That's from our elementary school performance of the Phantom Toll Booth, which was a children's book about a kid who goes into a different world. It's like he gets isekai'd into Adventure Time, basically, which is also an isekai. I was in it as one of the doldrums, which is like the depressed people that he walks by, which is funny in hindsight. It was fun. Speaking of like crafts and costume and stuff, like I think there's another life for myself where I'm like a either an actor or like a costumer or something.
Yeah.
I really like doing stuff like that.
That's fun. I remember going to your elementary school to see the Phantom Toll Booth. I don't know if I would have seen your production or if it's something they did every year. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I definitely
Went to my
remember
school.
going to that
Because we didn't go to the same elementary school, listener.
No.
Don't forget.
But I thought that was just too fun not to.
So classic. The big white pale makeup, yeah.
All right, so I think it's time for sauce number 6, yeah?
Yes, let's
Okay.
do it.
So
We've had plenty of time to recover.
yeah, I feel pretty much back to normal.
Let's fix that.
So let's get fucked up. So this is the Adobo Loco Jalapeno Chico. Okay, now what's going on here? This is from Hawaii. Apple cider vinegar,
Ooh.
smoked jalapeno, sea salt, garlic, smoked paprika,
Oh.
nutritional yeast, smoked ghost peppers.
Okay.
There it is. Trinidad moruga powder,
Ooh.
inactive baker's yeast. Those are
That
the
sounds
ingredients.
good.
Here, so
That sounds
show it to the
delightful.
people.
Kind of an orangey almost.
Yeah.
Jalapeno Chico, Adobo Loco.
All right. Here we go.
Bottoms up, my friend. Oh, I got a big one here.
God, I'm scared.
Yeah, you should be. Oh, you can smell it.
So saucy on the
Oh
bottom.
my god.
All right. I always make fun of them for doing the baby bites, but I just did a baby bite.
Get in there. Pete Davidson in his interviews like, if I don't take full bites, then some idiot on Reddit's gonna call me a pussy. So weird.
This one's not as bad.
Weak, but kind of good.
Oh.
Yep, aftertaste coming in. Oh, coming in.
Oh, here she comes. Okay.
It's dry. It tastes dry, if that makes sense, listener. And that's not an insult.
There might just be less sauce on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, do you want to sauce your wing a little more?
Hell no.
Fair enough, fair enough. I want to. Ooh.
In small quantities, that one's edible.
Don't do what I just did. Oh my god, that was so concentrated. And here it comes. It's rising to my head. I feel flames coming to. Oh my god. Woo.
I think my tongue's also just numb now.
Yeah, once you cross it, you're done.
This one's hitting me in the back of the throat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right here. Great.
I think I've heard Sean say that in an episode that they pick sauces that don't just like get hotter, but that do different things.
Things to your mouth, yeah. Yeah, we're all the way in the back of the throat. Delicious.
Oh my god. Okay.
Who's up?
Okay, so I don't want to hear your hottest takes on these topics or your like tried and true oldest takes. I want to hear your newest takes. I want to hear the things that you're currently thinking about for each of these concepts. Okay,
sure.
So I got 5 concepts.
Straight off the top of the dome. I have not seen these before.
Just like in your life right now, snapshot. What do you think about these things? Right now?
Absolutely.
First topic: social and traditional media.
Social media is changing really fast in a really scary way. I think it's becoming a pay-to-play space for a lot of businesses and companies. It's becoming harder to be a usual, like, so I am in pain. There's a pain here.
Why did you do so much?
I wanted to die. I wanted to feel something, and I'm feeling it. You know that. I love to chase
I licked
feelings.
some off my lips.
Them.
Wow.
Watch your eyes.
Careful
around your eyes. What was the question again? Oh, social traditional media. Yeah, it's all freaking pay to play now, and every website is owned by a billionaire who's stupid and just shutting it down. And I'm finding more comfort and safety in like more insular spaces, which is sad because what made Twitter fun early on was that people were normal on there. Like there was like normal people, and then there was online people. But like Blue Sky, for all my like praise of it, is like full of very online people who like make jokes about posting and stuff. And Co-host, which is another one of those social media things that people like, is all like, it's very twee. It's very like, you're in this crew of like extremely online queer people, and they all use Co-host. Like there just isn't one anymore. And even like, I remember fucking Facebook, like my sister and her best friend would send each other pictures on Facebook and drawings that they did with the mouse in like 2007. And like, that was Facebook. It was just like, hey, here's a thing. I'm acknowledging you, poking.
Right.
And now like, you can't see people anymore. It's all just business brands and stuff.
Right.
So I think it's really made me realize like we got so addicted to social media, and they made it so addicting that I no longer even want to use it. Like it looped around, and I never want to use it. And I still do. I check all this stuff really frequently, but I'm using way less because it just sucks now. Like they broke their own algorithms. And so I'm coming back to things like traditional media, and I'm like, how do I get news anymore?
Right. What
newspaper can I read that's like interesting? I was listening to a podcast recently about the New York Times and their problems with covering trans issues. And it was like really frustrating because it's like, if that's the paper of record and we also lose social media as a valuable news source, like what is left? Like, do I just ask somebody down the street, like, hey, what's going on with the government? And like, they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're all finding it from social media.
Yeah.
So not to be just like sad, but like, I think social media is just not what it was designed to be anymore. It's become a different thing. What that thing is very unappealing to me. And I think in like 4 to 5 years, we're going to be exploring and using social media in very, very different ways. And hopefully people understand that like returning to things like traditional media is a viable source of communication and community, which is what I hope.
I have 3 more. MMOs. Your current take.
Yeah, there's only 2 good MMOs. There's really only one, and it sucks. And that's Final Fantasy 14. All the other MMOs have shut down because they all tried to be World of Warcraft or FF14. And 14's better because it's story focused and has more players actively, but even it has huge storytelling flaws and gameplay flaws. So MMOs are fun for the people who like them, and I think they're cool, but also they're just not. They're not. You know, the 2000s, you could like go on like MMOhut.com. Like, what is this weird like Korean thing? You download it, play it for a day, and be like, I don't understand this. And that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not. I don't play that many MMOs anymore.
Conversation.
Just as a concept, it's one of my favorite things ever, dude. For a reason. Yeah, I just told you I had a date recently, and like the best part of it was the conversation. I just love talking. I love listening. I love exploring points and being like, building on what you just said, I think this. I'm obsessed with the human element of conversation. That's my weird. That's my ick. If people had an ick about me, it'd be that.
Okay, last topic. Current takes, newest takes, gender.
Oh. At the end of every episode of Gender Reveal, they ask the guest, in an ideal world, what would the future of gender look like to you? And I think gender for me right now is something that's really special and important to the people who it matters to. And we need to remind ourselves that it doesn't matter the same way to everyone. And fixing the world is not convincing everyone to think the way that we do, but it's convincing them to let us think the way that we do.
Yeah.
You know, stay out of my way and let me be weird, basically.
Yeah.
Let me be a little bit silly with it. Let me be a little flexible with it. So many of society's weird ills and problems with communication and friendship come from people adhering to the gender binary. And
Right.
I mean that with my heart.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
That's great.
I have a quickie for you here.
Okay, let's hear it.
This one was supposed to be actually, I don't know, should I do the funny one? I want to do the funny one last. I'll do the serious one right now.
Okay.
We've talked a lot over the years about orbs and finding that thing that makes this all worth it. Do you still to this day feel a kinship with Stuart Murdoch from Belle and Sebastian when he said, quote, "If I could do just one near perfect thing, I'd be happy. They'd write it on my grave or when they scattered my ashes. On second thoughts, I'd rather hang around and be there with my best friend if she wants me."
Yeah, I just got chills, and I don't think it's the sauce. Yeah, I think my whole life I've kind of had this complicated or complex around like wanting to be successful at something, but not really having a clear definition of what success means or why I want it. It's more like a fearful if I'm not successful or impactful or known, or I don't know what it is. It's kind of shifted and morphed as life has gone on, but it's like if I'm not that thing, then there isn't value to this, or I wasn't good enough, or something like that. And I think I've had to spend a lot of time kind of deprogramming that or unlearning that fixation, and I don't think that journey's done. I think I do still want to be successful or achieve things. I want to have goals for myself. I want to make stuff that still matters to me, but like finding a way to do that healthily and center like a healthy motivation to do that, as opposed to a kind of like frantic, fearful motivation, it's challenging, and it's still something I'm working on. And I do think that at the end of the day, I sort of grew up disparaging the like cozy life in the suburbs type thing, and the like go to your 9 to 5, come home, have your family, that kind of, I like disparaged and coveted that at the same time. And I think the older I get, the more that I'm like trying to come to terms with those simple things in life, and like connectedness and belonging being like really important values and things to strive for and cherish, and relationships ultimately being the most important thing. So that's been kind of my arc with that, and I think this relationship that I'm in now has helped me to like really like learn that and heal that a little bit more, and like center relationships as opposed to like that fearful need to achieve without a clear sense of what that's for or why we're doing that. So yeah, that lyric still resonates,
but in a different way than it used to.
I think more deeply probably than it used to. I think I have a more complete understanding of what's being said there than I did when I was in college. So yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, nice. That was a great question,
Thank
Sean.
you. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. I think it's time for number 7, right?
Yeah.
Because I asked you question 6. Yeah, I did.
6,
Okay,
7,
great.
yeah.
Oh my God.
We're going in.
Okay.
What do we got?
This is Alchemy Pepper's hop sauce. It's hopped up hot sauce. This is the Watermelon Ghost plus El Dorado hops. This isn't like alcoholic or something.
You said it smells like alcohol, right? Maybe that's just the hops.
Yeah,
You can
that
have
makes
hops
sense.
without alcohol.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Let's do it.
I'm
Ready?
I want to put a extra on this one.
Why are you doing that?
I'm just okay. Honestly, it's like nuclear red on my on my plate right now. I don't think the viewer can see that. It's so red.
Uh-huh.
I just want to feel it. No, I think you're right.
I put more. I think these are more sauced than the
Yeah,
previous
these are
ones.
significantly. Okay,
So
all right,
I
all
would
right.
not do it.
Off into Valhalla together, my friend. Let's get it.
Oh fuck! This is fucked.
Cheers.
The smell of this one, I was like, I'm not gonna like.
Yeah.
This one. Oh, it's so watermelony. Fuck.
Ooh. Ooh.
Fuck.
No, I'm not sauced enough. I'm not feeling it.
Oh god.
It's not hitting, boys. It's hitting him though. Gong, gong.
Oh,
The slow mo's kicking in.
that's not working for you?
Nope. Not at all. Watermelon, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
No way.
No aftertaste. I'm fine.
Definitely once you're in spice mode,
Mm-hmm.
like once you're in this gear,
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah. That's exactly why they do the build-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because it's a fun format. Okay, it's there.
Like that jump from four to six.
6, huge. It's almost like there should have been a whole sauce in between.
Oh god. Oh.
Take the bev if you need to. You still got oat milk. Mm.
Way in the back of my throat. Okay. Ask me your question.
Oh, I want to fight someone. If you could tell 2012 Magellan 3 things right now, what would you tell him, and why is one of them to bring back history but with suits? The more I breathe, the more I feel it. No, this is
that one's in the windpipe. I need more milk.
I thought you were gonna just kill it. Oh my god, the back end of that one is vicious. Help. 3 things you would tell 2012 Magellan. Doing all right, Bubby?
Oh,
Okay. Good.
oh my lord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Oh. It's not going away. I had so much lemonade. I need more.
Okay.
Good things.
Yeah, History But With Suits, pretty good idea. It was the final project that our friend Jim and I did for our AP US history class. Alan was a part of it.
And Alan was part of it. Okay.
Ah!
They don't play it up for the camera, huh?
I'm getting a headache from this.
Yeah, it does reach your head eventually.
Okay. Is there a toilet? That's the Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Fuck, man. Oh, my head. I need to drink water for my head.
Yeah. Breathing out sucks, fam.
Okay. History But With Suits was the final project for AP US history.
Yep, you said that. Alan was a
I
part
know,
of it.
I know. I'm sorry the sentence
Okay.
over. I'm trying to just run through the
Yeah,
sentence.
go. Or take your time. Whatever works.
Oh, my head. Okay.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, buddy.
Okay, I think I weathered it. Okay. And we did an episode. The episode that we did, it's like was a comedic documentary type thing. And The one we did was about science fiction in the 1950s. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And that's a project that's worth bringing back. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
3 things I would tell myself in 2012. Probably number 1 would be, hey, you might have ADHD, anxiety, and depression. So just be aware of that. Start looking into that.
Mm-hmm.
And that might help you to understand,
Why your brain is the way it is.
why you respond to things the way that you do.
Yeah.
I think the second thing would be telling myself that I'm like deserving of care. I think that was something in a lot of my like ways that I saw myself and the ways that I interacted with people prior to like really being in serious relationships and then being in those serious relationships. I think a lot of the choices I made were kind of grounded in like a feeling that I wasn't worthy of being cared for, or that I wasn't going to get the care that I needed, or those kinds of things. So I think saying that would be a useful thing. And then I think the fifth thing that I would say would be like, don't let great be the enemy of good. I think that's just a good piece of advice. Like, you have a thing that you want to make, just make it bad, make it fast, and then make it again.
Yeah.
I think I've always been kind of a perfectionist and have used that as a way to procrastinate because I don't want to be bad at things.
Right.
But it's okay to be bad at things. You just have to be bad fast so that you can be good sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those would be the 3 things I would say.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Such good advice.
I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Back into Sean Evans mode.
Yeah.
My favorite Arabic phrase you've ever told me about was your mother saying, quote, "God help the man alone."
Yeah.
Which, how do you say that in Arabic?
Allah يساعد الواحد لحاله.
Which could be taken to have a teasing or a poetic meaning. Your father loves The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, which includes the phrase, quote, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself." How have you navigated the tensions in those 2 phrases, and what do your Arabic identity and life experiences mean to you?
Ooh. God help the man by himself is always like, yeah, the way I understood it as teasing is, you're like, "Oh, Mom, I burned the roast because I forgot how to use an oven." She's like, "Oh, God help a man alone." Like, that's, God, you can barely keep yourself alive, basically. And proving that wrong has been a big part of my adult life. Is like, God does help a man alone, very much so, and I've been helped a lot. But also, I want to die so bad. It's like, how pain is like. Sorry, that was severe, but true. Where am I? Brain, come back. Using your community, like asking for help. Like, I feel like I'm somebody who vents a lot to people and asks for a lot of help, and I try to do the same for others.
Sure.
But sometimes it's just like, well, some other people don't, especially like other people who are socialized as men, don't like vent the same way that I do. It's just like they don't feel comfortable doing it. But like, I don't think we need to only learn how to be alone. I think this individualistic thing is something that has done more harm than good, especially in the States. And then the whole thing about family is that you are raised by a community, right? Like, if I was only ever raised by my family, homeschooled, never like got to branch out and meet cool, weird people, I wouldn't be anywhere close to who I am today. I don't think I'd be a bad person. I would just be like fundamentally different. And I don't know how any of us could communicate with each other if we were all siloed off like that. That's why I love The Prophet as well as my dad does, because you always get, it's sort of like the Balance Your Astring lyric, where you think about it more and more, and the different chapters take on new meaning as you get older.
Yeah.
So that one I think I'm going to learn a lot and think a lot about as I get older, for sure.
Well, it's time for our very last wing.
It's tradition here at Hot Ones.
Tradition here, yeah.
To put a little extra on the last one. We call this the last dab.
Yeah. Now we're going to do something slightly different. We've got the game here, Truth or Dab.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's each get one of the trivia cards because the truth or dare ones are stupid. It's like, who would you fuck in this room or whatever. Anyway. And then there's like BFFs. Like, do you know everybody's middle name?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I do. So there's also these trivia cards. Let's ask each other the trivia questions. And
Sure.
however many you get wrong is how many droplets
Dabs.
you got to
Great.
dab on your wing, okay?
Great.
Okay.
So good.
All right. So there's yours to
Thank you.
ask me, and here's mine to ask you.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'll ask you first, okay?
Uh-huh.
Question 1. What snack is traditionally left out for Santa Claus? A, cookies, B, brownies, C, chips.
That's cookies.
That's correct. 2. What is the best-selling Christmas single of all time? A, White Christmas, B, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, C, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh. I think it's C. All I Want for Christmas Is You?
No, it's White Christmas.
Ah, that was my second guess.
And then
One down
3,
for me.
what was the first country to issue a Christmas postage stamp? A, the USA, B, Russia, or C, Canada?
Postage stamp.
Mhm.
Canada?
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, so you just have to do one little dripply droplet.
Okay.
There you go.
This is the official Hot Ones, the last dab. Hot
It
sauce.
came with the game.
Yes. It's a tough one, it says on the side. What does it smell like? I've always been so curious. Oh, death.
Oh, that's absolutely toxic.
Oink. Great.
Okay, quiz me.
What year was the first commercial hot sauce available? A, 1807, B, 1862, C, 1924.
The first commercial hot sauce.
Yeah.
It feels like a very late 1800s thing, so I'm going to say the second one.
It's incorrect.
Is it the first one?
It's the first one. 1807.
Damn it. Okay.
Number 2. The heat from a hot pepper is concentrated in the A, veins, B, stem, C, seeds.
The seeds.
That is correct.
Okay.
And this one, if you know your Hot Ones lore, is quite easy because they talk about it sometimes. Pepper X, the world's hottest pepper, was bred by which pepper farmer? A, Smokin' Ed, B, Fiery Johnson, or C, Volcano Joe.
Smoking Ed.
That's correct.
Okay, great.
You also have a dab.
Okay. Well, we've made it this far.
I have a theory that the last dab is it's not ever as bad as the last one, or there it's just that the bomb is so bad that you, like you said, your taste buds are numb.
Yeah, I think so. I think they probably bring it down a notch. There's a great, maybe it's Scott Kramer, I can't remember the YouTuber, who does a Hot Ones parody video, which is how I became, how I came to know Hot
Yeah,
Ones,
I know the video you're talking
where
about.
he forwards that theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, bottoms up.
Bottoms up. Interesting.
Oh,
Weird taste. I don't like the taste of that.
no. Ew, it tastes bad.
It's lingering.
Ugh. This is also the one that was packaged with the board game and not from the Hedonist, so
Not fresh.
it makes sense that it doesn't taste as good. Yeah, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did reactivate my taste buds, but I'm not like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Got a little bit?
Yeah, it's kicking.
Do you want to order like a cold pizza?
I need something. I don't know what it is.
Sorry, I just got like a lot. I was like, oh, I'll just put my finger on the board. And that was such a bad idea, listener. I think I resurrected some of the watermelon one when I did that. Like I found some residuals.
This makes me really appreciate in the Shaq episode when Shaq pours all the hot sauces on the wing
Yeah.
to make Sean eat it.
Oh, yeah. How awful that must
Fuck
be.
you, Shaq. That's terrible.
It's bullying, Shaq. Are we done? Are we free?
Rank them or tell me which ones you liked.
Okay. Taste wise, lemon pepper is good. It holds up. Chocolate ghost pepper is mid. It's fine. Spicy shark would be fun at parties, but it wouldn't like make anyone hate me. But it would be like, hey, this is pretty hot. I would never have jalapeno chico again, and I would never have watermelon ever again. Probably for the rest of my life. Get back to me in like 24 hours. And Parenteri Curry Verde, if you used a lot of it, like you really gotta get the flavor out of it, would be like solid. Like, oh, this is a tasty hot dog. I would season chili with that one, actually. Boy, you can't go wrong. It's just so liquidy, though. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's how liquidy. There was a season of hot ones where they used like an oil-based hot sauce. Almost every single guest is like, I don't like this. And there's a reason why they discount it, because oily hot sauces are not good. Your turn. Go ahead. No. Declined. I got that thumbs on deck, buddy. Well, Magellan, we did it. You're here. You ate the hot wings. You answered the questions. Now there's only one thing left to do. This camera. Tell the people what you got going on in your life. What's your chatsum for this week?
Fuck.
Actually, tell the people what you got going on your life. Plug yourself first. And then chatsum me. Please. He's unconscious, listener.
My tongue is on fuego. It's painful.
I love it. I could do it, so I could do it 50 more times. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Wow, hold on. I need a second.
Yeah. And you may have it, sir. I can do the chat's plug zone. Give you a little bit of time to plug your stuff.
I'll be back.
Sure, he's got to go. He's got to step away. So I can be found on scanlinemedia.com, The Creature Quorum, The Guard at Wager, those are podcasts. Oh, I touched my eye. Our podcast that I'm on, Talking Marketing, we mentioned, bi-monthly marketing podcast. It's coming back in September with some fresh guests. We are still in the middle of a SAG-AFTRA and WGA strike. My stomach hurts, y'all. I'm going to link the Entertainment Fund, which is a way for you to support, I believe, SAG at the very least. And I always like to link that because I want you guys to support them. If you have questions, comments, concerns, we're at chatspod@gmail.com. We're at Chatzpod on Twitter, or X while it still fucking exists. And Chatz Television Podcast on YouTube if you want to watch more garbage like this. If you like our show, rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. We have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Chatzpod. We're at $1, $3, or $5 a month. You get bonus content. We are really shifting up what we're doing on the Patreon right now. We're doing a lot of nights-like content, which is where we just hang out and talk and do challenges and funny things that are not about Spark work. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I feel pain at the moment. And I hope Magellan's okay. He's coming back. Hi, bud. If you are a $5 or more patron, you can support us. You get a thank you at the end of every episode. As of today, our $5 patrons include Arthur, Emeris, Jen, Justin, Kat, Lee, Marcus, May-Louise, Michael, Magellan's mom, Nick and Pat of the Brothers at Infinite War, Noel, Six, and Stefan. Thank you guys for supporting Chats and letting us make ourselves suffer for our art.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Chatspod.com, all things chats. If you like our main feed at art, it's done by Camilla. She's at Camilla Strader. And Magellan, where can people find you on the internet?
You can listen to me on another podcast called Super Smash Echoes that I do with my friend Justin, where we play video games related to the Super Smash Brothers franchise. Super Smash Echoes, check it out. Spooper. You can also read some of my writing on Substack. It's not that Magellan.substack.com.
What's your chatsum for this week?
I have 2 YouTube rabbit holes, very specific, weird YouTube things.
Good.
The first, there's this really funny Wordle YouTuber. Can you believe it?
Wait, really? Sorry, I double take. Wordle?
Yeah, he plays Wordle, and he does shorts where he plays Wordle, and it's just really funny. There's something about him.
That's great.
His name's Kenny Holler.
Holler?
Hall.
Holler. Okay.
Holler.
Okay.
He plays Wordle. He plays weird Wordle variants. He plays the other games, the mini crossword stuff. Like, He does a variety, but Wordle's the most common thing.
Sure, love that.
And it's just like, it's just fun. He has a fun little.
Kenny
style.
Holler, very cool.
And then the other thing is, I'm an on and off fan of Jack's Films on YouTube.
Oh, how do I know Jack's Films?
He's been around the block.
Okay.
He's got a few million subscribers. He's like tangentially connected to a lot of YouTubers you're familiar with.
Oh, sure.
But in the past year, and this has ramped up in the past couple months, he's really on this crusade against Sniper Wolf.
Oh, the YouTuber?
Because he's really frustrated that she never credits any of the sources for her TikToks or like pays the people who makes them.
Oh, wow.
Who make them. And so he started a second channel called Jack's Films, but with 3 J's to be like the Sniper Wolf has multiple S's.
Right.
And he just does videos reacting to her reactions. And like at first he was grading them, and then someone in his community created a bingo card for the things that she does all the time. So he does streams where they play Sniper Wolf bingo, and you can actually join the stream and get your own bingo card and like see if you can win. So
I love that.
yeah, it's just such a random weird thing that's like given him a little bit of new life, and he's doing a really creative job with it. So I've been enjoying those.
It's on Jack's Films YouTube channel, or is that a different channel?
It's on his other channel,
Jack's Films. Gotcha.
I mean, I will say I'm always a little like I don't love when like people pile on like a female person, a woman.
Female person.
Sorry. I was gonna say like female
content creator.
Or content creator.
Yeah, I got
but
you.
just in general, like it's never a great look for like a male or male presenting person to pick on a female example of a phenomenon
or female presenting person. Yeah.
Because like I'm sure there are plenty of other channels that do a similar thing where they're freebooting content and not crediting it.
Yeah.
So like that's my one kind of critique, and I'm not so sure about it all the time, but I do think that what she's doing is not cool, and I think that the way that Jack is criticizing it is funny. So
Okay.
that's my recommendation.
Valid.
Yeah. What about you? What's your Chatzum? Did you say where people can find you?
Yeah.
To the camera, all the cameras?
Yeah.
You red carpet?
Yeah.
All right.
I rolled out the red carpet.
Okay.
I have a couple quick YouTube chats. I'm just gonna say YouTube videos at you, and then I'm gonna tell you afterwards why they're all good.
Right.
Friends shocked to learn Princess Diana is dead. Historic 1997 video. This is an amazing video from 1997. Someone filmed his like friends and him. I think all of them, if not most of them, are queer. I don't know, but there's like a vibe that at least maybe 2 of them are dating. And it's actually the day that they like run up to. My nose is running.
Mine too.
The day that they find out Princess Diana's dead, and they like turn the camera from the poker game to the CRT, and they crowd around this tiny little CRT. It's just 90s ASMR basically. Love it. Vin Diesel's cover of Rihanna's "Stay" is one of my favorite YouTube videos. It's just funny. 10-meter tower, New York Times op doc. This is from 5 years ago. I just watched it recently. This is an amazing 16-minute YouTube video where a bunch of it's filmed from the top of a 10-meter diving board, and it's a bunch of people being told that they'll get money if they jump off the diving board, and watching the fear enter their eyes and then leave their eyes as some of them jump, and it's just a beautiful like short film about like anxiety. And then the last one, this is like my real one. Peach Creek, which is the unofficial Ed, Edd n Eddy sequel, just finally released their first episode. Yeah. Peach Creek is the name of the town that they're from. So this is a project that has been in development for like, I think at least six plus years. But I've been following it for a while, and I forgot about it. And then I saw on my socials that like, oh, they're posting like it's been animatic, it's been etc. And it came out, and the first episode is awesome because it's serious. It's also funny. It's not just played as like, what if they got older, a la like Rugrats All Grown Up. It's like, what if we told a story featuring the casting characters of Ed, Edd n Eddy as like stoner adults, as like post college kids burnt out.
So it's like an independently produced sequel?
Yeah, fully animated, very similar in animation style to the original, like with that classic squiggly line art style. They got different voice actors obviously, but they sound really on point. The first episode is so interesting and weird. it gave me Twin Peaks vibes.
Whoa.
I was like, what? Like,
Okay.
because if you remember, Ed and Eddie got like surreal.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, we're gonna do surreal, and they get there, and it's
Yeah.
like really bizarre and trippy, and I liked it a lot. So check out that's on YouTube. Check out Peach Creek.
Yeah.
The first episode is called The Rug Pull because you remember their big thing with rugs.
Yeah.
Those are my YouTube chatsums. I think we're gonna have a lot of YouTube chatsums for a little while. TBH, guys.
Yeah.
I'm still playing the same games that I'm always playing, so I don't have new game chatsums. But when I do, I will tell you them, and Magellan will do the same. But that was the first attempt at Chatz and a Pickle. I want to thank you, Magellan, for being the Sean Evans to my Sean Evans. And who's up next on the rotation?
I think we're going to consider this one a listener pick because I think we talked about it in last week's stream episode.
Yeah.
We're going to do a round robin style.
Shamelessly stolen from the Spit and Polish podcast.
So this will be our first listener pick episode. Next week, it'll be Alan's pick, then mine, then it'll go back to a listener pick episode after that, and we'll go on a 3-episode rotation.
I don't know what to give you yet.
Okay.
When I think of it, I will either attach it to the end of this episode if it's before Sunday. If it's not, I'll tell people what to expect. I kind of like the idea that they just tune into an episode, like it's a surprise what it's going to be. But I also want them to be able to experience the thing if they want to.
Yeah.
So whichever one happens first, I'll let you guys know.
Great.
Thank you again to Magellan, and thank you to you listeners for listening and you viewers for looking. Toss us a like and a sub if you want to see more silly stuff like this, and let us know in the Discord or wherever in the comments. And we have been Chatz. Peace.
Bye.